Hi guys, thanks for tuning in back to another video, and in today's video we're going to be doing a Q&A. I'm going to be responding to some of your questions that you post connected to my asylum process in Germany. For those who don't know, I have been in Germany for 1.5 years, and last year in April, because of some technical situations, I had to seek asylum in Germany, and I'm still technically in the asylum process. So I have done so many videos, like maybe more than 5 videos surrounding this topic. So maybe if you're watching this video today and you have not watched the previous ones, then I will put them as a link on the description down below, and then feel free to go and check. So there were so many questions on the comment section. Some of them I was able to respond to, and some of them I didn't. But today I'm gonna try and respond to as many as I can, so that somebody maybe who is curious about the topic or who finds themselves in a similar situation, then they can get the information that they need. So the question number one, and this was a very common question, of course, on the comment section, was, can you travel to Kenya? And that is me, like, can I travel to Kenya? And the answer is Jein. In German they say Jein when you mean yes and no. So maybe just let me give a small background on this. When you actually seek asylum in a particular country, like you left your country of origin and you went to another country to seek asylum, it means that maybe there are some circumstances and situations that are a threat or to your life, and maybe if you go back to your country of origin, then your life may be in danger or something like that. So in any case, if your asylum if your reason for seeking asylum is approved and you are granted asylum, okay, then you are, especially in Germany, or maybe it's also in the EU, you are provided with a blue passport, and this light blue passport actually limits you from traveling to your country, because technically, like you said that there is some situations and circumstances that are preventing you from going back, then you're not expected to go back. And if you violate this rule, your asylum protection or your asylum status could be withdrawn. It's that technical. Now, coming back to me, obviously my asylum application was rejected. I got a rejection, which means I'm not under protection status in Germany, which means I don't have that special passport that can allow me to travel outside the country but not to my country. I do not have that. So that means that the rule of not being able to travel to my country doesn't apply to me. Why? Because I did not get asylum status or asylum protection in Germany. This means that later on, if I do get a residency permit, then I am free to travel in and out of the country, including to my country, without any limitations, because I will just be like any other resident living in Germany, maybe as a student, or maybe on a marriage visa, or maybe on a work visa and stuff like that. So yes, the answer is yes, I am allowed to travel outside the country as long as I have a residency permit. But what is limiting me right now is that I have not yet received a residency permit. I still have a document called a duldung, and basically a duldung is means that it's a temporary suspension of deportation. You get this document called a duldung when there is something that is hindering you from being able to travel back to your country, and maybe because you don't have the proper travel document or whatever. And in any case, in Kenya, if you do not have like the proper travel documents, then they do not even allow you to land into the country. Even if you do, they will reject you and say they do not recognize you as a Kenyan. So at the moment, I'm not able to travel outside the country. I'm not able to travel to Kenya. But when one day I come here and I tell you guys that, yay, I have received my residency permit, then that day you should know that now I have, like, the limitations of me being able to travel to my country have been lifted. I hope I have answered that question to the best of my ability. Yeah, so let's go to question number 2. Question number 2, somebody asked, how far have you gone with your asylum case? So the further I've gone is with my asylum case is that I went through the interview process, my asylum case was rejected, and I was given a duldung, the document that I just mentioned, which is temporary suspension of deportation, because there are some circumstances and situations that are preventing me from leaving the country, and also I have been allowed to stay in the country and work. So as long as I am working and I'm being a law-abiding citizen, I have not gotten any threat of deportation to this end. So that is basically how I can sum up how far I have gone with my asylum case. It was rejected, and I have a duldum. I hope that is clear. If you have any more question around that, feel free to ask. Number 3 question that somebody asked is, hey Angie, how is it with someone who has Dublin? And I'm going to try and explain Dublin here a little bit to the best that I can, just for someone who finds themselves in this situation, because there are so many people that come to seek asylum in Germany. Like me, I seek asylum in Germany, but I came to Germany straight from my country. Like my first point of entry to Europe was Germany. That was the country that issued me with a visa. But there are also some people who come to seek asylum in Germany, but they came to Europe maybe through a visa for France or for Italy, for Poland, for Spain, for Belgium. You get the point. They got a Schengen visa allowing them to enter into another country, and they came and sought asylum in Germany, but Germany was not the country that issued them their visa to come to Europe. In that case, they go through something called a Dublin procedure, and this procedure actually means that Germany will not actually be responsible for processing their asylum application, and they first have to contact the country that gave them the visa, and if that country accepts to process their application, usually this person is deported back to that country. So there are some people, yes, that go through that. They get deported back to the country that they came through, and they are asked, please, we are not responsible for you, you should seek asylum in that other country. There are some countries that reject and say, no, we don't want to process that person's asylum, and at the end of the day, after some period, maybe this Dublin procedure usually expires after some time, maybe after 6 months, after 1 year. It just depends with the case, or maybe with the, it depends with an individual case. So when that Dublin procedure, that period for the Dublin procedure expires, then now Germany takes up the person's case, and now if the person is eligible for protection status, either yes or no, then they are given protection status in Germany. Maybe one day, if you guys are interested, I will go deeper into the Dublin procedure. But yes, for a person who is under Dublin, then it just makes things more complicated. Like when I applied for my asylum, yes, I was with some people, so many other people from other countries, and even from Kenya, who entered Germany to seek asylum from other countries. And when everything of mine was moving really quickly, and after 3 months I was eligible to get a work permit and allowing me to work, for the people that were under the Dublin procedure, basically, yes, they were given they were being supported, getting a place to stay, getting the basic livelihood. But basically, a person with the Dublin procedure for such a long time, your rights will be really restricted. Maybe you're not allowed to study, maybe you're not allowed to work, maybe you're not allowed to even maybe travel outside your region. So many things that surround the Dublin procedure. Anyone that finds themselves in that situation, if you just Google Dublin procedure, you're gonna of course get more information about that. But just to know that if you come to Germany to seek asylum and you enter Germany from another country, then your case is gonna be treated totally differently, and you might end up being deported back to the country that you came from. But if you appeal, just like when I sought asylum and my asylum case was rejected, and I was given 7 days to appeal the decision, and I did appeal before the 7 days, and they allowed me to continue staying as they relook the case. people with Dublin procedure also go through the same interview process just as I did, and then when they get their decision, the decision is usually we are applying the Dublin procedure on your application. We are giving you this number of days to tell us why you are not able to go back to the country that you came in from to seek asylum, and you find a lawyer, you appeal the case. If the lawyer wins the case, then you are allowed to continue staying in Germany until the Dublin process runs, and then now you can be considered for asylum status or not in Germany. I hope I really try to explain to the best of my ability. And then let's see the other question that somebody asked. Somebody said, I do not understand. If your asylum application was already denied, how were you able to apply for a work permit? I think I already answered that question briefly. Yes. If you check the asylum application process for anyone that finds themselves in the situation and you are not under the Dublin procedure that I also just explained on the previous point, then after 3 months of seeking asylum, you are eligible to apply for a work permit. And just exactly the same way that I did. So after 3 months, I applied for a work permit, and because it is supported by law, and you know that Germany is very bureaucratic, and if anything is supported by the law, then they will not deny you. So when after 3 months after seeking asylum, my 3 months elapsed, and there was no more like restriction for me to stay in a particular district and all that. I applied for a work permit. I was granted. First of all, I just applied for a work permit that allowed me to work in Berlin, although my district actually is Brandenburg, but I applied for a work permit in Berlin. I was allowed to work, and after again another 3 months, I changed. Now I moved out of Brandenburg, moved out of Berlin. I came to Düsseldorf, and yet I was still given a work permit. So basically that was it. It's supported by the law. I was allowed to work because after 3 months, then they say if you do not have like restrictions, like this is what they say: if you're not coming, if you are coming from a country that is not among the safe countries, because there are countries that are considered safe countries. To be honest, Kenya is not listed among those safe countries, but there are countries like Serbia or Ghana or maybe countries like Georgia. If you come from those countries, usually you're not allowed to work, even if you came to Germany direct, because they are considered as safe countries, and they look at it like you don't have any reason to seek asylum in Germany. Your country is safe. I tried. I hope you understand. So another question that somebody asked is, hey Angie, did you move out of the asylum home? Yes, I did move out of the asylum home. As you can see right now, I am not in the asylum home. I am living with my boyfriend. We've been living together since last year October. Yes, so I did move out of the asylum home. And why? Because of course I got job somewhere very far from the asylum home, and of course there was no way that I was gonna be making the commute to and from work from that place. So when I was allowed to work in a different state from where I applied the seeked asylum from, then they also allowed me to move out. Of course I informed them, made an application that I want to move out, and I was allowed to move out of the asylum home. Yes, so I moved out of the asylum home. I'm no longer there. Okay, so let's see the other question. Oh, okay, this is very similar to the question that I just asked. It says, such an inspiration. May our good Lord keep doing you good in the name of Jesus. Amen. My question: after getting the chance to work, how do you make to stay outside the home, or you're still there? I just answered that question, so just make reference to the previous one. I am not in the home. I already moved out. So I'm just looking for another question. So this question, somebody said that you mentioned Ausbildung. Is this something that one can get into from a foreign country? Like, can one be admitted when still living in their home country, looking for opportunities to immigrate? Otherwise, stay blessed, and the good Lord bless you. Thank you. Yes, of course, an Ausbildung is something that somebody can apply from their home country as long as you meet the qualifications. And especially right now, to do an Ausbildung in Germany, you need language qualifications of at least B2 in German. and then of course you look at other requirements that maybe the Ausbildung may require you to have completed your secondary school education with particular points and stuff like that. So it depends actually with the requirements. But yeah, I know of some people who came maybe from Kenya or from Nigeria or from other countries outside Germany to do an Ausbildung in Germany, basically with an Ausbildung visa. So if there is an Ausbildung visa, first of all, before you think of applying for that Ausbildung, make sure you have the correct language requirements, and you can simply apply directly for an Ausbildung. The one that sells the most, that most people get the opportunity to come to, is nursing. So that is something that you can check in depth. Otherwise, the question or the answer is yes, you can apply for an Ausbildung outside Germany. So another question here, why asylum? I hope you do understand the meaning, because you will never go back to Kenya. And wrong. I will go back to Kenya. Of course, why? Because I was not granted asylum anyway. I'm not in any kind of asylum protection. I'm just existing. I'm just like right now I'm just living like not a normal resident, because of course my rights are restricted in such a way that I'm not allowed to travel outside Germany, because I don't have the right documentation to travel outside Germany. But when I do, pray for me. Then of course I will be able to travel outside Germany. And I'm saying this because I know of so many people who went through the same process, even from my own country, and now I know they travel home back and forth. Why? Because they have residency permit. By some other means they were able to get a residency permit. That is a topic for another day, that we're going to talk about how to now get out of the asylum, to get a residency permit maybe after seeking the asylum process. So watch out for that, it should be coming soon. Okay, so there is another question, and actually it's so similar, so I'm not even going to go into depth. And this one, somebody asked, did you leave the Heim to living with your boyfriend? Yes, I did, and I already answered that question. I did. Okay, so the other question was, how long did you stay in the refugee camp? So to be precise, I applied for asylum last year in April, so around 19th of April, and then I stayed in the first camp from April to around 9th of May. I was moved to the second camp until around mid-June, I think around 22nd of June if I'm not wrong. So technically April, May, and somewhere in June, basically less than 3 months I was in the asylum camp, and then I was moved to an asylum Heim, and so I stayed in the Heim until mid-October. So let's say from mid-April, May, June, July, August, September, October. So I stayed in the asylum camp and Heim for a total of 6 months. Then I got the chance to move out, and that is when I moved in with my boyfriend. Oh, this is a good one. There is another question here. Somebody asked, what if you are pregnant at the time that you seeked asylum? Hey! This is a good one. If you are pregnant by the time that you seek asylum, so if you are pregnant at the time of seeking asylum, one, you cannot be deported. There are laws that actually prevent somebody who is pregnant from being deported. So even if your case is rejected, when you are pregnant, you are actually not supposed to be deported. But if you're pregnant, yes, of course you can seek asylum, and you will also have to go through the interview process just like any other person. For any reason, maybe because of your health, you're not able to attend the interview at a particular time, like I saw with one of my friends, then your interview will be moved to a date that you are physically and emotionally able to attend the process, because it's usually a very gruesome process. But of course, if you're pregnant, there should be nothing stopping you from seeking asylum. Okay, so this is another interesting question. I don't even know which number we are, but somebody just asked, hey Angie, any update on your asylum decision today? To be honest, at the moment, I don't have any newer updates. After receiving the rejection, I just keep going back to Brandenburg. Right now I live in Duisburg, and that is a totally different state in North Rhine-Westphalia. and I have every 3 months I have to go and renew this stay permit called a duldum in a Bradded book. Other than that, they don't tell me anything else. They basically don't tell me anything else. So that is the only update that I have for you right now. So guys, yes, those are basically some of the questions that I am able to answer. And last but not least, somebody asked also on the YouTube page, and also somebody sent me this question on Instagram. This person was asking the name of the place that I went to seek asylum from in Hamburg, because that is the first place that I reported to before I was sent now to the place close to Berlin in Eisenhüttenstadt. And to be honest, on that day I was in so much distress, and in any case we took a long train ride to the place that I don't know, because I was escorted to that place. I was not in the correct mental state, so I cannot remember. But what I can say, if you are in Germany and you desire to seek asylum and you do not know where to go, simply find the nearest police station or any police car that you can see, or any policeman in uniform that you can see. Just go to them and say to them that you would like to seek asylum. They will either drive you themselves to the place where you can seek asylum in that region, or they will actually give you a free ticket and give you proper directions to where you can go to. So do not worry about that, and do not crack your head so much of what you're supposed to do. In my case, because of the circumstances that were surrounding the situation that I was going to seek asylum, I was really afraid to go and surrender myself to the police and say that I wanted to seek asylum, because I just felt like somebody was coming after me, or somebody was watching my back, all that stuff. So I couldn't trust myself surrendering to the police. But if that is not your situation, if you're just in a place or in a situation where you need to seek asylum, just go to any police. They will be so nice to you, they will be so kind to you, because remember, seeking asylum is not a crime. You know your situation, you know your story. If you need to seek asylum, totally go for it. Just go to the police, they will do it. I know of people who did this. I know of a guy whom I was at the camp with, also a Kenyan. When it was time that he wanted to go seek asylum, simply took his bag, put it on his back, and went and said, hey, I'm here, I want to seek asylum. They will not ask you why, they will not ask you how, they will not ask you what. They will give you the correct information or provide you with the services that you require. So guys, that was it for today. And if you have any questions surrounding this topic or any other topic that you would like me to address, feel free to put your comments in the comment section down below. Be sure that I will check and respond to you to the best of my ability. Thank you for watching. Give this video a like if you enjoyed the video so far, and I will see you on another video. Cheers.